Hello, you're watching VNA News Bulletin. I'm Banga from Hanoi, and now the headlines. President Chen Quang receives Cuban and EU ambassadors to Vietnam. Vietnam Canada trade revenue grows in the first quarter of 2016. Southern Fruit Festival opens in Ho Chi Minh City. State President Chen Quang hosted separate receptions in Hanoi on June 1st for Cuban Ambassador Herminio Lopez Diaz and Ambassador and head of the EU delegation to Vietnam, Bruno Angelet.
At the meeting with the Cuban diplomat, President Quang affirmed Vietnam's determination to, together with Cuba, carry out already signed agreements and commitments to turn potentials into special programs and projects. He suggested the two countries exchange experience gained during the reform process, thus helping develop the Vietnam-Cuba special relations in a deeper and more effective manner. Speaking of the contributions of the ambassador in his role as a bridge linking the two nations, the state leader said he believes that the diplomat maintains close coordination with Vietnamese offices to make the bilateral ties grow further. Cuban Ambassador Lopez Diaz asserted the embassy staff's determination to tighten the friendship and cooperation between the two countries. While receiving the EU ambassador, President Quang welcomed EU member states' ratification of the Partnership and Cooperation Agreement and asked the EU to quickly finish procedures to make the agreement become effective. The state leader requested the EU to continue its support in helping Vietnam implement its sustainable development goals and intensify its capacity in climate change adaptation. He applauded the EU's international role as well as its contributions to maintaining peace and stability, fostering cooperation and development in Asia-Pacific and Southeast Asia, and ensuring aviation and maritime security, safety and freedom on the basis of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982. Ambassador Angelet stated that the EU delegation to Vietnam wants to contribute more to the development of EU-Vietnam relations. The delegation is preparing several projects and plans to intensify cooperation with Vietnam.
The completion of institutions, not socio-economic issues as usual, was the first issue to be discussed at the Cabinet's regular meeting that opened in Hanoi on June 1st.
In his introductory remarks, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc emphasized the settlement of institutional and legal bottlenecks as the main tasks set by the new government. The leader blamed red tape in administrative procedures as one of the root causes of the country's sluggishness and admitted the failure to create optimal conditions for development. He stressed the need for the cabinet members to focus on institution building in order to seek solutions to the existing problems, especially during the effectuation of the law on enterprises and the investment law, while they are mulling over specific draft laws and ordinances. As of May 31st, the government had issued only 14 documents guiding the implementation of the laws, a far cry from the set target of 51. Additionally, 91 circulars and 13 joint circulars have yet to be issued as scheduled. Out of 49 decrees needed to instruct the actualization of the amended law on enterprises and the revised investment law, only 35 were submitted to the government. In this regard, Prime Minister Phúc requested ministries which have been behind in submitting the documents to account for their delay. Mentioning law building, the Prime Minister underscored the need to ensure both quality and quantity of the legal documents. The Cabinet's May meeting takes place on June 1st and 2nd.
As part of her visit to the UK, Vice Chairman of the Vietnamese National Assembly Tong Thị Phóng worked with Deputy Chair of the London Assembly Janet Arnold and Deputy Mayor of London Joanne McKenney.
While welcoming the Vietnamese top legislature, Janet Arnold said the visit contributes to the enhancement of the strategic partnership between the UK and Vietnam. She informed her guests of the successes achieved by overseas Vietnamese and students living and working in London, adding that the UK and Vietnam could further promote bilateral relations in various spheres, especially in education. For her part, Phóng said the visit aims to learn experience from the UK in building a state of law, strengthening the role of the municipal council and relations between the municipal council and administration, as well as improving the city council's supervision and the administration's management capacity. Also on May 31st, Vice Chairwoman Tông Thị Phóng received representatives of the healthcare charity organization Facing the World and the executive board of the UK-Vietnam Friendship Network. She praised the British surgeons' endless efforts in providing free surgeries for Agent Orange-affected victims in Vietnam, as well as the network's contributions to the bilateral relationship. As part of the trip, the Vietnamese delegation also laid a wreath at New Zealand House, where President Ho Chi Minh worked from 1913 to 1917.
Vietnamese Minister of Defense General Ngô Xuân Lịch is paying a friendship visit to Cambodia as guest of his Cambodian counterpart, General Thi Banh. An official welcome ceremony for the Vietnamese minister was held on June 1st.
At their talks, the two ministers agreed to fully and effectively actualize protocols on defense cooperation in order to enhance mutual understanding and trust, ensure a peaceful and stable environment for their economic development, and foil plots to weaken their relations. Vietnam and Cambodia will also join hands in protecting land and marine border security and create optimal conditions for border demarcation and marker planting by competent agencies. General Lịch affirmed Vietnam's consistent policy of developing friendship and comprehensive cooperation with other countries, especially its traditional friends and neighbors. During his two-day visit to Cambodia, the Vietnamese minister was received by President of the National Assembly Samdech Heng Samrin and Prime Minister Samdech Techo Hun Sen. The Cambodian leaders promised to create the best possible conditions for the bilateral defense links on the basis of agreements reached by the two governments and defense ministries. For his part, Lịch said the Vietnamese Defense Ministry will continue the close and effective partnership with its Cambodian counterpart in order to contribute to the two countries' relationship.
Vietnamese Minister of Justice Lê Thành Long held talk with his Lao counterpart Stacey Santivong on June 1st. More details in the following report.
At the talks, Minister Lê Thành Long spoke highly of the cooperation between the two ministries over the past years and expected that the two sides will maintain and uphold the obtained outcomes. Long suggested some key tasks, including the enhancement of affiliation between border provinces and organization of a meeting on the borderline in 2016. He also expressed his hope that Laos will send more students to Vietnam for training, alongside with increasing delegation exchanges. The ministers reviewed the outcomes of a cooperation agreement signed between the two ministries last year. Later, the two ministers witnessed the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation for the 2016 to 2020 period between the Academies of Justice of Vietnam and Laos.
Vietnam lists ASEAN members in bilateral trade with Canada, with the figure hitting nearly $929 million in the first quarter of 2016, up 11.8% year-on-year.
Canada exported $92.9 million worth of goods to Vietnam, an annual decrease of 38.7% during the period. The country spent $836.1 million on Vietnamese imports, mainly machinery, electronic devices, apparel and footwear, 23% higher than last year. Vietnam secured a trade surplus of $743.2 million, with an annual surge of 123% in the overall value of machinery and electronic devices exported to Canada. Canada bought less seafood from Vietnam, leading to a drop of 22.4% in revenue compared to last year.
Vietnam mostly imported fertilizer, nuts, seafood, machinery, spare parts, and fur from Canada. Vietnam ranks 5th in ASEAN in terms of imports from Canada, but exports the most to the country.
Vietnam's cashew nut exports to the U.S. are expected to increase in the coming time. Details coming up next.
According to the Vietnam Cashew Association, the U.S. is currently the largest cashew nut importer of Vietnam, accounting for more than 50% of total market share. Vietnamese enterprises sold over 28,500 tons of cashew to the U.S., earning total revenue of more than $220 million in the first 4 months of this year, up 8.8% in volume and 18.6% in value year-on-year. The association said most cashew exports are trademarked by American enterprises. However, their Vietnamese origin will be highlighted to U.S. consumers thanks to media coverage during Obama's visit to Vietnam. Experts also forecast cashew exports will have great potential for growth in the U.S. market after the Trans-Pacific Partnership deal takes effect. However, they suggested the Vietnamese cashew sector focus on food safety in production and processing, as this will decide whether these products can gain a stable foothold in the U.S. market.
Low-cost airline Vietjet launched a big promotion campaign from May 31st to June 2nd, with hundreds of thousands of super saving air tickets starting at $0
The promotion is applied for domestic flights in Vietnam and international routes connecting Vietnam with Singapore, the Republic of Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Myanmar and Malaysia from August 15 to December 31st, except holidays. Tickets can be booked from 12 to 14 at Vietjet Air's website, also compatible with smartphones, or at the airline's Facebook. All passengers flying with Vietjet this summer will have chances to experience amazing travel opportunities with impressive activities such as virtual 3D technology games at airports, gifts, in-flight performances, and 3D photo contest. Vietjet is the first airline in Vietnam to operate as a new age airline with low-cost and diversified services to meet customers' demands. The airline recently won certification from the International Air Transport Association after 3 years of operation. Vietjet Air was also declared Best Asian Low-Cost Carrier at the TTG Travel Awards 2015 and rated one of the top 3 fastest-growing airline brands on Facebook in the world by Social Bakers and the favorite airline in Vietnam in 2015.
The 12th Southern Fruit Festival officially kicked off at Suối Tiên Culture Park in Ho Chi Minh City on June 1st. Let's join us to take a look.
The annual event features numerous activities, including a float market selling fruits and handicrafts, a fruit parade, a collection of rare and giant fruits, a fruit safety contest, and an art performance. First launched in 2004, the festival has become a popular cultural tourism event, promoting the agricultural values of Vietnam and the southern region in particular. Fruit cultivation spans 415,800 hectares of land in the southern region and produces around 4.3 million tons per year, accounting for 53.2% and 57% of the country's area and output.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.